Alright. Julio.
350 would be a whole because you said that's how many students.
Good, that's the total number of students, right? You with me, Alicia? That's the total number of students. So if we were going to set up our proportion, should I do it in... So if I was going to set up my proportion, I would do part... Oh, wow. Part over whole. I'm going to do part over whole is going to be equal to my percent over 100, right? Okay. And so what is my part? What is my part in this case, Kalita? What? 36%? That's my percent, but what's my part? Linda? What's my part? No, Julio.
X.
Yeah, X, because it's the thing we're looking for. We're looking for our part. Okay, so we're going to have X over, and like we said, our whole is going to be 350. And that's going to be equal to our percent, which is what, Glinda? 36%. And we do that over 100. Okay. And now we can cross multiply. 100 times X is what? 100X. And 36 times 350 is what? What is it? Anybody? Somebody do it real quick?
I would. 12,600.
12,600. Thumbs up if you agree. 4, 3, 12,600. And now we divide both sides by 100. Right? Yeah, Agnes? Good, 126 when we divide by 100. And so we know our X value, or our part, is 126. Now, is that our answer?
No.
No, why not? Why not, Aubrey? No, we don't have to turn it into a percent. What's the question asking? What's the question? What's the question asking, Sophia? Good. How many students are in this year's 6th grade class? And what did we find?
126.
Right, but is that the number of students in the class, or is that the... Is that how many students we decreased by? That's how many students we decreased by. Because we found our 36%, which was 126 students. That's how much we decreased by. So we have to take our 126. We have to take our 126 and subtract it from our original total. Right? 350. And what was it? 126?
Yes.
126. And what do we get when we subtract it to Luke? 224. Okay, the biggest thing in percent problems is reading carefully. Read carefully. Halima.
On the previous assessment that said what was like the percent of questions she got right. So a lot of people chose what she got wrong.
Yes. Yes. Okay, number 2, a survey was conducted of 500 students. The survey reveals that 20% play a sport. How many students is this? So how many students play a sport? So we're going to set up our proportion. What's our part? What's our part, Gabriel? X. Thank you, Halima. Gabriel, what's our whole?
Our whole is 500.
500. And we're going to set that equal to our percent, which is 20 over 100. Okay.
Where is it?
What?
Oh, what the heck?
Let me do this real quick. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It all disappeared. Alright, here we go. So what do we have? We had our part over our whole, and that was equal to our percent over our total. Okay. Now, before I do it this way, okay, I want to remind you guys how we could find 10%. Okay, I don't know if we talked about this trick, but to find 10% of a number, all we have to do is take our decimal. We talked about this?
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, take our decimal and move it once, and that's 10%. And so how do I go from 10% to 20%?
Double it.
Double it. So 10% equals 50. What is 20% going to be? 100. So let's double check that. Let's double check that by actually doing the cross multiplication. So 100 times x is good, 100x, and 200 or 500 times 20 is 10,000. 10,000. So now when we divide both sides by 100, we just get rid of our zeros. We can cancel out our zeros, and we're left with what? X equals?
What? I got 10.
Alima, you must have had some difficulty with your decimals. Yeah.
Because it was easier if you know
Hold on a second, guys. Julio's talking. I got Sulu in the back, April here talking, somebody's tapping over here, okay? Let's give Julio our attention, okay? He's earned it, right? He earns our respect. Let's do it.
If you think of like 20% of 100, if you wanted a 500, couldn't you just do 20%?
Yeah, you can do it like that. If you're comfortable messing around with your digits and your zeros, you can definitely do it like that. Okay, so today we are going to expand our understanding of percentages into more real-world applications. Okay, so we're looking at, let me finish. We're looking at sales tax today, okay? And sales tax is determined based on your city. States have sales tax. I don't think there's a federal sales tax. Never mind. Anyway, so the sales tax in Irving, where we are, is 8.25%, according to the last time I looked. Okay, and Mike, here we go. So just to review, okay, real quick, I want you to individually write down on your warm-up sheet, on a piece of paper, on the desk with the expo markers. On the expo markers, write down what the sales tax is as a fraction and as a decimal. Okay, I'm going to give you guys, I don't know, maybe a minute to do that. Yes. Turn that sales tax into a fraction and decimal by yourself.
What's the sales tax?
We'll talk about it.
What is that?
Gabriel. You go sit by Halima.
How dare you?
Okay, let me rephrase that. Gabriel, go sit by Halima. Thank you. Gabriel,
We're trying to wake up Brandon.
no, Gabriel, don't worry about him. Gabriel, I asked you to move, so move. Thank you. Gabriel, move. I'm asking you. Okay, let's review. Okay, let's review. So we have 8.25%. Okay, so we have 8.25. Everybody can see in the back. Pull the backpack off here.
It's right here.
8.25%. Okay, raise your hand if you can tell me how we change percents into decimals. How we change percents into decimals. Agnes. Agnes. Sorry, continue. Yes? Decimal place to be used. Right? Alex, which way do we move the decimal place when we're changing a percent to a decimal? To the right?
To the left.
To the left. Okay, so Agnes, when we're doing percents to decimals, we're dividing by 100. David,
Oh, yeah.
put the pen down.
It's called percent.
Okay. We divide by 100, so when we divide, we move to the left. So we're going to move it 1, 2 places. So now we got to fill that space with 0. So our decimal value is going to be 0.825.
Okay. I thought you just said. Wait.
Hulu.
You just want to do the zeros in front of the point.
Oh, sorry. Yes. My fault. Yes. There you go. Thank you. Good. Yeah, Aubrey.
How do we take this?
What was his name?
Okay, we'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there. So now, raise your hand if you can tell me how we do it as a fraction. What we do as a fraction. Yeah, Aubrey. We don't divide it by 2.
No, divide by.
What are percents out of? 100, right?
Yes.
So we can put it over 100. So we have 8.25 over 100.
Is that literally the fraction?
That's the fraction.
There could be a decimal and a fraction.
Wait, what?
I don't like. Wait, wait.
I don't like
Hold on. Hold on. Raise your hand if you want to say something. Hulu?
So you move it twice and it becomes a 0 on the 100?
Yeah, on the 100. Very good. Melina? Everybody has to pay tax.
If you want to buy something, that's not it.
Well, I didn't have to pay taxes yesterday.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. One at a time. Okay?
Ow.
So, sales tax, Halima, to answer your question, okay?
Oh, I know it goes to the government, but why does the government want to win? But they don't want to
Okay.
I can read it.
Okay. So sales tax have to do with not necessarily the consumer that's getting taxed, but the store that's getting taxed too. Okay. So it's not really a tax on you, Halima, as a citizen, as much as it is a tax on commerce or on buying things. So it's a tax on purchasing power.
What?
Yeah, Julio? Hmm? What do you mean?
I bought something yesterday.
They don't tell you.
Well,
Oh my God.
okay, so if we can see, as we can see on this receipt right here, put your feet under your desk and face the front. As we can see on the receipt right here, most of the time they'll give you a subtotal, okay, and then they'll tell you what the tax is and then the total, which is the tax, plus the, or which is the tax plus the subtotal, is going to give you the total amount, which is how much you actually. No. You stop it. Yeah, Sophia? Thank you. Aubrey. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and there's actually a holiday tax break coming up that not every state does, but Texas does, where.
Oh, that's right.
Like Black Friday.
Hey, kind of like Black Friday.
Is it?
Where the state will take taxes off for the holiday season, so people buy them.
Like
Okay.
Black Friday.
So we gotta move on, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get out OneNote. Okay, open up your iPads. Open up your iPads and.
Walk. Yo. Hey.
Okay, get out your OneNote and open your class notes section up. Under your class notes section, there will be something called sales tax.
Yeah, but that's what happens on OneNote. That's what happens on I was gonna say how average. It's like, you know, do suicidal people.
What's it called?
Sales tax.
Yeah. But I'm not from Townsville. I'm from Townsville. Bro, no, I'm not, I didn't win the Thomas yet. I'm from John Hayden. I'm kidding.
Where is it?
Okay, if you don't have an iPad, just get out your notebook and take notes along with us.
No,
Where is
I don't
it?
want to take notes.
Under class notes.
Class notes, where? Where's class notes? But she was on, I only have social studies during the year. I only have social studies up here during the year, and I
Yeah.
Alright, fine.
Is that a notebook? Okay, so what's the name of the notebook? Oh, wait, never mind. That's the creation. I'm left.
Yes.
It's a left hand.
I'm right handed.
What do they do? Get away
You're like,
from
Hold on, we'll get there.
oh, left hand. Just on my left. I was supposed to be left-handed, but because my parents taught me right. I was supposed to be like left-handed.
Well, you're a good player for a time.
So, we should either have OneNote open or we should have our notebook open. Okay? We should have our notebook open.
Ray just looks back like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Yes, Gabriel?
Hi. I was waiting.
So we are going to look at how to calculate sales tax. So we should be pretty familiar with using percentages after yesterday, right? And so let's look at this this first explanation. Sales tax is a fee you pay to the government, or in this case Texas, when you buy something. Okay. So for this first example, we have $125 shoes, and we're paying a 6% sales tax. Okay. How do you think how do you think we could find how much we pay in taxes? Yo. Sorry, yeah, you're good. Multiply what? Give me a full sentence.
Times your tax, 6%, turn that into a decimal.
Good, so we turn that 6% into a decimal. Okay? And what's 6% as a decimal, Urios? Good, 0.06.
Yeah.
0.06. And we multiply that by the cost of the shoes. And now this is going to give us our subtotal, right? It's not going to give us our total. It's not going to give us the actual amount that we pay. It's going to give us the amount of tax, right? It's going to give us our tax amount. So, like we saw in the receipt, we have our subtotal is 125. Our tax is going to be 750, which we found out by multiplying. And so what is my total going to be? Right, what's my total going to be?
I know. What?
Hulu?
Do we add it up?
Yes, we added up. Okay, so we're going to add 125 to 750, and we get what, Julio? $132.50. So the other way we could do this, to go directly to the total rather than finding the tax and then having to add, okay, how much is the cost of my shoes in a percent amount? How much is the cost of my shoes in a percent amount?
Oh.
Tulu?
You can move the decimal twice, right?
No, not. Listen to the question. How much are the cost of the shoes in a percent amount? Yeah.
Oh, you can't do that.
Why not?
This is a whole.
It's a whole, right? It's the whole. So how much is a whole for a percent? 100. And then we're adding our tax percent to it, right? Right? So we add our 6% tax. And what's my final percentage? 106%, right? Okay? So we get 106%. Now, how do I turn 106% into a decimal? Sophia? Yeah. How many times? Good, twice. And then I multiply it by my 125, right? And I should get my subtotal, which was what, 132.50. Okay. So it depends how you want to solve it. You can either solve for the total, depending on what the question asks. You can solve for the whole percent and then solve normally, or we can solve for just the tax amount and then add it to our original. Okay? Yeah.
Is that a multiplication sign right?
Yes. Yes.
Do you have to write it on the?
Yeah.
What do you have to multiply?
Why? Well, this is going to tell us how much 106% of 125 is. Yeah, but we didn't have to add it. Remember before we found our tax amount was $7.50 and then we added it to our original? And then we got our 135? This time we don't have to add anything. we added the percents and then multiplied versus before we multiplied and then added our dollar amount. Tulip
How do we write it on one?
is draw. Click on the pen. You're in the web browser. You
Click on
can do it. Yeah.
Next second.
Okay, so on to the next one. Please follow along in OneNote.
Wait, what's the answer? 135 and what?
Hey, let's move on to the next one. Okay. Who wants to read it for me? Who wants to read it for me? Yeah, Alicia.
Miss Green bought her brother some Jordans for $220 and a t-shirt to match for $35. The sales tax is 4 6/10%. What will be the total cost of Miss Green's purchase?
Good, so we're looking for total cost, right? Okay. Well, we're going to look for our subtotal. Okay, and what's our subtotal? How do we find our subtotal? How do we find our sub? Somebody learn Tulu?
What was the question?
Oh, Tulu? Question?
Would you first add 20 plus 35 and then
Listen to my question, Tulu. How would you find the subtotal?
oh. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Tulu, how would you find the subtotal?
Adding 220 plus 35.
Yeah, we're going to add our two original costs together. So we do 220 plus $35,
Then you gotta add.
right? Which we get by 255,
Yeah.
right? And now we have to find our tax and then our actual total, right? So what is, which way do we want to go? Thumbs up if you want to find the tax amount and add it to our total, or thumbs down if you want to add the percents together and then multiply.
I'll think about that. Isn't it correct?
Hey, need more people voting than this.
This one. I'll be the tiebreaker.
No!
Okay, it looks like thumbs up, we're gonna win.
Yeah!
So we're gonna take our 4.6% and put it into a decimal. Ivan, what's 4.6% is a decimal? That would be 46%. Aubrey? Good. Right, because we're moving it twice. We're not moving it once, right? Ivan? Hey, and now we're gonna multiply. We're gonna multiply by what? Multiply by what?
100.
By 200.
By 255, by our total amount. Okay, so 255. Okay. And what do we get when we multiply 46 by, actually, let me write this.
0.046 multiplied by what?
What do we get? 30, 1173. Oh, so we'll get 1173. But we have to move our decimal, right?
Yep.
So we move it twice, or we move it twice, or how many times? 3 times, because we have 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal here. So we move our decimal 1, 2, 3. And so our tax amount is going to be 1173. Now what do we have to do? To find our total. But it's asking for the total, right? It's asking for the total cost. So we got to add it to our subtotal. Okay, and our subtotal was 255. Okay, make sure you guys line up your zeros. Okay, notice how my zeros are all lined up.
That's very good.
Okay.
You know what I said? A lot of money.
The zeros are all lined up. So we add and we get 37, 6,
Actually, 73 cents.
266 and 73 cents.
Like, literally someone just gave this to me. So
Oh my goodness, I don't have any reason to write.
this way. Color changes.
No, I understand. The side conversation. Any questions about how to do that? Alright, here's what I want you guys to do. Okay? The next problem, I want you guys to work in pairs. Oh, we're doing tips, sorry. Let's go over tips real quick. Okay, so tips work the same way. Do we add the tip to the total, or do we subtract the tip from the total? Add, because it gets added to our bill, right? Okay. So it gets added to our bill. Do we solve for the percent the same way?
Yes.
Yeah, either way is going to work, right?
Yeah.
Either totaling up our percents and multiplying, or multiplying and then adding. Right?
No. What's the bloody guy?
Yeah, either way.
Okay, I'll leave it.
Okay, so I want you to take, we'll say what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? 3 minutes. We'll take 3 minutes to solve this problem here. Right?
By ourselves?
Yeah, do it individually.